Anime TikTok is upset right now. There's this whole thing that's been happening. I don't know if you've been following it. What I did is I went between these two content creators' pages and tried to splice up their replies and everything together in a timeline. Racism, anime, boy bubbles, girl bubbles. It's a whole thing. Dying to know your opinions. Here we go. The original video that started off this conversation, it's actually deleted now as far as I've heard, but he is making a reply to the video, so it kind of works. Here we go.
If I say Jujutsu Kaisen is not good storytelling, are y'all gonna jump me? Because I know how y'all get.
A little condescending, but yeah, let's get it. And
okay, first, not condescending. Kind of funny though that he thought it was, because, and I'm not on either person's team, okay? I'm already gonna form my own opinion, of course, but I'm gonna watch it like he's watching it. I did not think that was condescending. I just thought that was like, yeah, fandoms are crazy. Y'all thought Solo Leveling was a good anime. I said what I said. Solo Leveling was at most mid, less than mid. I can't believe I sat through season 1 and y'all told me this was one of the best animes of all time. You're crazy. Thank you. Okay.
And for the record, there's literally no hate here. She literally asked JJK fans to respond.
JJK fans, where y'all at?
I'm not gonna lie though, I do find it hard to believe that she actually watched all of season 1, even though she said that she did.
I watched all.
So he's already setting us up to doubt her. Okay. Even though she was giggling and laughing to bring us in. Okay. Got it. Let's see.
Season 1, I watched JJK 0. And at the end, I genuinely could not tell you anything about the world building. I could not tell you about the curses. I could not tell you about the domain expansion.
Oh, he's got zoomed up. She's saying, I can't tell you anything about the curses, the world building, how anything works.
I can tell you nothing.
Because how do you not understand curses when it was explained in the first 14 minutes of the entire series? And then
okay, fun fact. I've watched JJK on dub and on sub, and I could not tell you anything about the world building because the way I watch content is about people, not world building stuff. But also, if I had to explain curses to people, I would say, no, shit, I don't even know where to start. See, I feel like I'm wrong. Curses. Nope, I got nothing. Fuck! See, I can't, like, I don't think about it that way. Like, my brain, yeah, this is the argument I have with a lot of my friends. They're like, oh, do you love the world building? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like, I give a fuck what people do. Like, you know, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I love that movie. And I had some people in my life just like hung up on the world building. I was like, who cares? And they're like, it doesn't make sense. I was like, who fucking cares? The point is the art. What do you learn from the art? What do you learn from the point of it? I don't remember, but who cares? Oh yeah, cursed spirits are sentient bad emotions. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I remember that. See how I remember it, but I don't care? But like, if I cared, because again, why are we enjoying art? You can love it for the world building, or you can love it for the people. You can love it because it makes you laugh, or you could love it for other things. Like, I don't think it matters. But I've watched in sub and dub, and I do understand things better in dub, but I watch a lot of my anime in sub. But I also have like rewatched JJK season 1 multiple times and the movies multiple times. And off the dome, I couldn't tell you what curses were. Also, Hunter x Hunter could not tell you how Nen works to fucking save my life. I don't know. I just know it's there. Like the whole arc where they're explaining Nen, I was like, can I zone out on this or do I gotta pay attention? And my partner's like, you gotta pay attention. I was like, oh, fuck. It's like, okay. So that's the thing. You get to enjoy art for what you want to enjoy it for. But I think if I, you know what I mean? Like, she has her opinions because of how her brain works. You have your opinions because of how your brain works. That's my initial thought just off this TikTok. By the way, this is as far as I got before I stopped and I was like, I got to show this on stream because I know my brain works very specifically. And I do not care that you like the world building. That's fine. But automatically I know what she's saying. It's the same critique I have of like, you know, JJK is really good. I really like JJK. Do I think it's one of the best animes of all time? Not really, but I think it's really good. It's so good that in the right edit on a fan page, I will cry. On the wrong edit, I will not. JJK feels like an anime that's like this, and then it spikes so good. You're like, oh my God, I'm so high. Back down. Oh my God, I'm so high. Back down. Oh my God, I'm so high. Back down. That's how I feel about JJK. Love it. But I feel like I sit through a lot of it to get to the high moments and then it comes back down. And I still love it. And you know what I'm saying? But everyone is different in how they consume. Okay?
The next thing she brings up is domain expansions, which was pretty thoroughly explained in the Gojo versus Jogo battle. They literally explain that it's the pinnacle of Jujutsu sorcery, but they also explain all the pros and cons and how to literally defend against it. Gojo literally explains these.
By the way, this is why I don't do this for a living, because y'all get too fucking weird about it. The reason I don't do philosophy this way or anime is because people get so fucking hung up on it. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's not that deep. What did you get from the art? Like this whole like, oh, but they explained this in episode 2. Yeah, but that's okay. If I, as a viewer, didn't get it 3 watches in, then either my brain works differently, you didn't explain it as good as you thought, or y'all went too, like, y'all have to admit you paid super attention because it's your special interest. Because hear me out. How many of these boys, because their ego is tied to this, have to know these answers in case somebody asks them about it? My ego isn't tied to me knowing the world building. It doesn't matter to me. So if I'm asked about it, I don't feel less like a fan, but these boys will. I think these boys will feel less like fans if they're questioned on it and they don't know. But I do not care. I am still a fan and you can't take it away from me. Thank you.
That boosts and how to counter the domains, and then also shows Yuji Itadori and the audience how to do it by countering Jogo's domain. So again, no hate, but how did you watch the entire first season and miss that? And then
how did you watch the entire first season and miss that? For the same reason you don't know where your girlfriend's clitoris is. Just kidding. That was... Just kidding.
when it comes to world building, Gojo also goes into Jujutsu sorcery, explains how Jujutsu curse techniques work, also explains Jujutsu High, and then not only that, but I mean, we learned about Sukuna. I don't really know how much more world building you wanted in the first season when we got a ton of it. So I don't know what you mean whenever you said this.
Because I know how y'all get.
But
yeah, because you don't get it. Because you get like this. You get like this. That's what she's saying. She's like, I know how you guys get. I made a video on anime and politics, and the worst anime fans in the world came into my comment sections. The misogyny, the bigotry came out. So just wait for it, because I know where this goes. I saw a little bit of where this goes because I was getting this ready. Just wait until she proves his point. He proves her point so well without knowing it, but also she proves his point. Guys, it gets weird. Are you ready? Hold your breath. It's about to get weird. Okay? So then we should go. This is 5 days ago. This is 6 days ago. Okay, so this one happened. So this is her channel now. Okay, now we're back to this channel, her channel.
Failed at world building, and give me 90 seconds of your time. I'm going to explain how Jujutsu Kaisen is directly related to the literacy issue. Let's go. I made a video saying that Jujutsu Kaisen was not good storytelling because it failed at world building, and I very specifically referenced like the curses, the curse techniques, and the domain expansions. I was like, I couldn't tell you about them, and the overwhelming majority of you that tried to like combat this criticism simply just typed in the definition of the curses, the techniques, and the domain expansions that were given in the series. And that's the difference between reading something and comprehending something, right? Or watching something and actually understanding something. Because just because you can define a thing doesn't mean you can explain it. And if you can't explain it, then you probably don't understand it. Like 99% chance. A lot of y'all think literacy and media literacy.
Yeah, it's interesting that in his response to her, he didn't explain to her what it was. Instead, he just said, you're stupid for not realizing what it was. And I don't believe you watched this anime. It's interesting that his opportunity, like in the opportunity of people in the community, wasn't just to be like, oh, this is what you missed. Like to you guys just did that to me. You guys, instead of being like, Brittany, you're so stupid, was like, oh, this is what curse energy is. I was like, oh yeah, I remember now. Oh yeah, I remember. I remember learning that. I just didn't keep it in the forefront of my brain. That's the difference between communities, is this community actually wants us to get better, and that community wants to prove who knows more about anime.
Literacy is rooted in, do you know these words or not? When it's actually in, can you explain what all of these words mean in the context of the story at large? And most of you could not in the context of JJK. And those of you that could were giving information from something outside of season 1, which was my point. The world building needed to happen up front, and it doesn't. And this goes into the larger point of media literacy. A lot of y'all do not understand what you're watching beyond the surface level explanations and pictures that you're seeing. And that is why a lot of critique that goes deeper is very jarring for y'all, because y'all are like, where did this person even get that from? Because they're looking at it on a level that's deeper than just surface level as you are. And I'm really not saying this to be funny because I don't think it was even one particular person, but it was very clear to me that many.
Well, I think a lot of the problems with the anime is that you're so saved by the script. I mean, that's why Gojo's locked up right now. Because if he existed, then there would be no challenge, right? So like JJK isn't good writing because the only way to save the story was to lock up Gojo, right? But I still like JJK, but it is pretty bad writing if you have to like you have to basically, plot armor is so good, you have to trap him in a box. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think she's wrong that technically it is bad writing.
Many of y'all that were trying to explain it to me could not even explain it to yourselves. You could only offer those elementary definitions that were already given in the season, right? But I don't need a definition. I need an explanation because that's part of world building. I hope you can understand.
Yeah, maybe she's just being like really neurodivergent about it or something, right? Okay, but to like check out this video. So now we're back to, okay, so now this is 5 days ago, 5 days ago. This is that shirt. This is that shirt. No, so first we're going to watch her video and then we're going to watch him replying to the video. Okay, so this is her video.
Dude bros are douchebags. We already know this, but not only are y'all douchebags, y'all are punks. Because y'all keep throwing the stone and hiding your hand. And I'm going to start calling you out about this. This dude made a video about me. The video starts, he runs my intro. If I say JJK is bad storytelling, are y'all going to jump me? Because I know how y'all get. He says, that's condescending. Now, I've been getting jumped all September. Okay? It's not condescending. It was disarming. It was letting people know that I was still open to critique. That's number one.
She was saying, I feel she is saying she is setting them up to be defensive because she knows how they are, but that puts that, so psychologically that will put them on edge, so that will make them more condescending towards her. So they're both being condescending at that point. But not in the way, she wasn't doing it to be condescending. She was doing it because she was afraid. See how you shouldn't do anything out of fear? And yes, she disabled comments because of this video. Guys, this is where she loses me. For the record, I do not like her. Because you're about to see why. But like, she is not a good person. But like, okay. So like, that's the thing. She set them up to be angry and they took the bait, which just proved her point that they're angry.
Number two, he says, I don't even think she watched all of season 1 like she says she did in her video. Okay, cool. And then he also says, this is no hate to her, by the way. Now you've thrown the stone and you've hid your hand. Because you know exactly what you're doing. You just accused me of being condescending and a liar to your audience of hundreds of thousands of people. Saying no hate doesn't make that any better. If I say, with all due respect, your mom should have swallowed you down before she got on the boat at the Philippines to go to America, does that suddenly make my sentence respectful?
And that's where she loses me. Why'd you bring his mom into that? Also, that's racist. Like, why would you say that? What was the point of this? Why would she say this? I don't get why she said this. I can't believe she said that. That's crazy. Like that, I was like, I wanted to be on her. I wanted to be on her side so bad. And then she said that, and I was like, this is why we can't have good things. This is why we can't have good things.
No, it's still disrespectful. And if I were to say something disrespectful like that, I would never walk it back because I'm going to stand on any and everything that I say. Let's get into the critique of JJK. First, if you haven't seen my original video, I was very clear that my issue with JJK was based off of my experience. I say that repeatedly throughout the video. To me, I say that constantly. So trying to discredit my experience is asinine. Two, as I said in the follow-up video, you do not know the difference between defining a thing and explaining a thing. All you can do is parrot back what they said in the video. Congratulations, you have a good memory. That doesn't mean that you have any kind of understanding of what they're actually talking about. And that was the point that I was making in my original video and in my follow-up video. Three, this is the last thing I'm going to say about JJK and how it fails at world building, but I read an interview from Tite Kubo and he said he didn't understand the world building until Nanami was introduced. And Tite Kubo is a master storyteller.
Oh.
And Bleach has arguably some of the best storytelling
Interesting.
in shonen anime.
Okay, receipts.
Is it that he also didn't watch or read because they explained it in the first 14 minutes?
Oh.
Or could it be that people have different expectations for what needs to be explained when you're talking about a fantasy series that requires world building? And back to throwing stones and hiding your hands. I was in your comments. You're not liking none of the comments of people saying, but she's right. She's right. You're only liking the comments of people trying to be funny and referencing the few times I got jumped earlier in September, which lets me know that you knew exactly what you were doing when you were making this video. Like, I respect those of you so much more who say, I hate this girl. Because just get it off your chest. Like, why throw the stone and hide your hand? For what? For what? You're a punk. Leave me alone.
Okay, so obviously, I don't like the way she went for his mom like that or made a racist remark about her swallowing before she came on a boat to America from the Philippines. Like, all of that is really fucking stupid. Okay, I wanted to defend her, but see how I can't? So we're just going to have to observe and get our hands out of this because, like, none of these people are worth it. But just pay attention to how it escalates from misogyny, racism, sexism all comes into play, okay? It's not done. It's going to escalate more, okay? We're going to start escalating, okay? Because now this video, okay, so now this video.
The boat at the Philippines to go to America, does that suddenly make my sentence respectful?
Just so everyone's clear, we're talking about anime. Now, I'm only going to dignify this with one response, and if she responds again, then so be it, but I won't. The difference
Okay, for the record, he will respond, and there will be much more responses.
between you and I saying no hate is I didn't throw out an insult and then say no hate. You threw out an actual racist insult and then said no hate. I feel like that should be fairly obvious as a difference, and I shouldn't need to explain it.
I think the insult was insinuating she didn't watch the show, which is an insult a lot of people do throw out as like, you didn't even watch the show, bro. I feel like it's okay to, because you made a direct response to her, but I think I feel like I think that is so much more dismissive to girls than people think. Because when boys don't know something about their favorite anime, nobody goes like, did you watch it, bro? They just go, bro, how'd you miss that? But when as a girl who loves anime, a lot of people are like, did you even watch? I don't think you watched it. There's no way you sat through 800 episodes of One Piece. And I was like, okay. And they're like, well, I don't get how you watched it, but you don't know these things. Because it's 800 fucking episodes. I don't know. I'm going to forget some shit, bro. Like, you know, it's like there is an accusation underlining there, but at the same time, she didn't have to go where she went. And the question is, why did she? Because she was probably triggered. You know what I mean? She was probably triggered. And so the point is, why are you getting triggered over this thing, girl? And why didn't you make the video at a later time? But the issue is like, did she apologize for it? Spoiler.
But here we are. Now let's address the other points in her video.
You're only liking the comments of people trying to be funny and referencing the few times I got jumped earlier in September, which lets me know that you knew exactly what you were doing when you were making this video.
So if you went through my comment section and see me liking all these comments, why didn't you show the screenshots of me saying that I actually didn't know that you were the one who was beefing with Bum Soulful and other anime dude bros, as you say? I liked comments that agreed with me, of course, because they're agreeing with me on my video. So yeah, I'm going to like those comments. But the fact that you didn't point out me literally not knowing who you were is rather interesting. Now, this next point is also in her video and addresses the comprehension issue that she was talking about before.
I read an interview from Tite Kubo, and he said he didn't understand the world building until Nanami was introduced.
I agree. Tite Kubo is a great writer. However, whenever he said that he didn't understand things until Nanami got introduced, debunks your point because Nanami was introduced in season 1, and you said you watched season 1 and didn't understand it. Which was my entire point, but your entire rebuttal to that was saying that the difference is I'm just defining it and not comprehending it. So let's summarize real quick. Number 1. I didn't insult you whatsoever. I said no hate and actually didn't follow it up with an insult. However, you said no hate and followed it up with an atrocious racist comment. Number 2, you claimed I knew what I was doing by saying that I was liking comments that were not only agreeing with me, but of course talking about your previous situation. However, you didn't show these screenshots where I was literally saying to people, I didn't realize that that was you that was beefing with Bum Soulful. And number 3, you brought up Tite Kubo to say that he didn't understand things as well until Nanami was introduced, but your entire argument was that you didn't understand things in season 1, but Nanami was introduced in season 1. Anime dude bros aren't coming for you. I very respectfully stitched your video and you got upset. It's a you problem.
Okay. He's going to probably have to eat those words in a second. Discord said, wasn't that her just saying it based off her previous experience with the JJ community, speaking to the community, jumping her? I don't understand why that is condescending. I don't think it's condescending. You said, or why would it make people defensive? They were already defensive to begin with. So it's like me saying, hey, Discord chatter, I know how you get, but I'm going to explain this to you. What do you mean that's how I get? Like, don't you feel like, what do you mean? What do you mean that's how I get? Like, don't you feel like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, hey, I know how you get. What does that mean? What are you So she started off the conversation with, I know how you get. And that just, that just like, it makes people feel bad. But also, I think it's kind of funny. And I do it every time I say, let me hold your hand when I say this. Let me hold you. Indiana, please, really, can you make a decision? So when I say like, let me hold your hand when I say this, I am kind of saying the same thing, only at least that's a universal, like kind of nicety. It's like a funny to squish, you know? Yeah, Chat said it's like a bad faith move to start a convo, assuming people will react badly. Now, had she been more like me, where I'm like, you know, the boys are going to get pissed at this one, ladies, let's go. Then it's coming from a place of power. But she kind of didn't follow it up with a power statement and said she went low. So if she came out and she was like, hey, thank you for the video reply. Hey, I'm kind of getting bombarded in the comments, which I thought would happen. And I'm kind of disappointed to see, but I'm just going to like repeat myself. But she didn't. She got defensive, which is fine in a human perspective. But it's interesting how this is going to go back and forth and escalate even more. So that's why I'm explaining, like, if you're going to do it with your full chest. If you're going to say this community sucks, do it with your full chest, like I do. But you know what I mean? Don't like come back and be like, I can't believe they were, you know what I mean? Like she's more triggered than she should be for somebody who knows that they're going to do it to her. But there's a reason she's triggered, because this community is a cesspool, which I'll show you in a second. Chad said I was watching a video from you like a year or two ago. I actually see a lot of growth. Do you think you've changed? Every day, girls. Every day we change. You better see growth. You will never see the same Brittany year to year. Every 6 months, I change. If you've seen content more than 6 months ago, I'm probably not that person anymore. Yes, girl. Glad to hear it. Okay, next. Okay, this is her formal apology. This is her channel. My formal apology to the anime community and anime dude bros. Are we ready? Here we go.
To anyone who thinks, okay, so I just wanted to make a formal apology to anyone who thinks that I'm about to walk back anything I said, because I made it very clear that if I say something, I'm going to stand on it. Nothing I said was racist. Acknowledging that his mom went from the Philippines to America is not racist. Now, if she's not Filipino, then it could be inaccurate, but it's not racist. My mom went from Nigeria to America, and I went from America to Japan. Not only am I the child of an immigrant, I'm an immigrant myself. So there were no racial undertones. There was no racism in that comment. The comment was disrespectful, as it was meant to be, because I was trying to highlight that just because you say with all due respect doesn't mean that the next thing you say is suddenly respectful. Y'all.
Yes, Chad, she said by boat as well. Exactly, girl. By boat? Oh, it's going to get worse though. You know, by boat. So we know by boat is a racist idea. Off the boat, fresh off the boat. All of that shit is racist. Oh, it gets worse. Get ready.
Y'all are still being disingenuous. Y'all are ignoring the part where he called me a liar, where he said I was being condescending. Y'all are ignoring the fact that for the last 3 weeks, a bunch of grown men have been dogpiling on me.
It definitely happened. Definitely bullshit too. So remember that it's like toxic v toxic at this point, because it gets pretty intense. She is 100% experiencing harassment, no doubt.
For my opinions, my perspective, and my experience with different animes, that's not normal. Y'all are talking about you're just mad because he corrected you. You cannot correct my experience. Y'all are doing this 100% because I'm a woman. And I just think it's so interesting how when I say something y'all perceive as racist, then y'all want to draw the line. But I've been called all types of niggers, monkeys, everything you can imagine over the last 3 weeks. So racism in the anime community is fine then. And I think it's even more disingenuous because, correct me if I'm wrong, ain't this the dude that was getting in trouble for liking all them racist comments and racist jokes about Miguel from JJK?
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. So racism is funny and it's laughable when he gets to laugh at it. But when I say something that y'all perceive as racist, that's where we want to draw the line. Y'all are being disingenuous. And y'all got the wrong one. Y'all got the right one, actually. Because I'm never going to walk it back. Also, I don't want anybody to feel like they got to defend me if they're going to be disingenuous. Like, if you're going to ignore that I very specifically said that first part of my video was in regards to him calling me a liar and telling people that I was condescending, then don't even bother. You don't got to defend me on nothing, ever. I don't need no backup. That's the difference between me and how you men seem to operate in this space. Y'all need to team up like the Avengers for what? I still don't understand it. I don't need that, especially if it's not going to come from somebody that's going to be disingenuous about it. I hope this clears things up. Also, I am turning comments off on that video, not because I have anything to hide, but because I'm not racist and I'm not about to create an open forum for people to accuse me of being racist. So, and I'm sorry, and last but not least, and I hate to be that guy, but Filipino isn't a race, it's a nationality. Maybe I think it also qualifies as an ethnicity as well. So at worst, I'm xenophobic, not racist. If you're going to try to call me out about something, at least be accurate.
I'm sorry. That's so funny. I'm sorry. It's not funny, but it's so funny. Like, humans are so human. I can't. I was. Yeah, she's going full debate, sis. She is. She's like, actually, pedophilia is actually the attraction to pubescent children. I love her. Okay, this is so bad. It gets worse. Again, it gets worse. Okay, hold on. Everybody get ready.
It's a nationality. Maybe I think it also qualifies as an ethnicity as well. So at worst, I'm xenophobic, not racist. If you're going to try to call me out about something, at least be accurate. Thank you.
Yeah, that wasn't the gotcha that you thought that it was. I know I said I wasn't going to respond, but at the end of the day, this isn't about anime anymore. It's about racism towards Asians and how it's often swept under the rug. So let's go over the points in her video.
Oh, no.
My mom went from Nigeria to America, and I went from America to Japan. Not only am I the child of an immigrant, I'm an immigrant myself.
That was essentially saying the exact same thing as, I can't be racist because I have black friends. Had you simply just said that my mom should have swallowed, then yeah, absolutely. That wouldn't be racist at all. Because guess what? You wouldn't have brought up race.
Ooh, but it would have been misogynistic and I think sexist. I do. I think why did you go for his mom? Like, why did you make his mom out to be a slut? You know, it's still gross. It's still so fucked up though. Like, and I know as a person who's trying to get like misogyny and sexism out of her jokes and her humor, it's like, you know what I mean? I get it. But like, it's still bad, right? Why do you have to go for his mother?
But instead, you specifically decided to bring up the fact that she was Filipino. I know my name says Pinoy Boy, but that was still irrelevant to the conversation. Not only that, but you specifically said that she came over from the Philippines on a boat. And we all know the connotations behind the fresh off the boat meme and the jokes around that when it comes to Asians. Oh, but don't worry. It only gets worse from here.
Y'all are doing this 100% because I'm a woman.
No, right. Chat said that was not at all the same as I have a black friend. No. It's not. It's the same as saying like, okay, I'm going to say it. It's like the same as saying like, it's like saying, I'm trying to use an example. I guess I could use myself. Like if I said, oh, I can't be anti-immigrant, my family's immigrants. It's like the people who voted for Trump and supports ICE, but then they say they love immigrants. Like you can't love immigrants and support ICE. You know what I mean? So maybe it's something more analogous to that, where she's trying to say, I can't be racist, I'm an immigrant. What is what you think immigrants aren't racist? Or I'm not sexist, I'm a woman. Yeah. It's more like that chat, or saying I can't be racist because I'm black. Like, to be fair, a lot of, depending on how the conversation goes, some individual black people think they can't be racist because they're black, which obviously doesn't work that way. They can't have systematic power in order to be racist, but individuals all suffer from bias and prejudice. So there's that. Oh, you want to talk about mothers? Chat. You want to talk about mother? Okay, stop, gags.
Yeah, the only thing to address there, that just screams that you were ready to be the victim the entire time and already had preconceived notions about people who are going to respond to you, saying that it was just because you're a woman. However, I do think there's a part of you deep down that does know that you're wrong. However, you refuse to admit it because of your ego, and that's totally fine. At the end of the day, this interaction has revealed your character, not mine.
You know what's so annoying is I wanted to back her up so bad because I know she's dealing with racism and sexism in those comments. I just know she's being harassed because I get the same harassment too. But then she did what she did and I can't back it up. And then she doubled down on it and I can't back it up. I can't in good conscience, but I also am not going to back him up either. I will say because he is ignorant and he is not engaging in the reality that like his initial video with a bigger following was automatically going to send hate her way. That's what he has to understand. Like he's at a male dominated bubble with a male dominated audience. They were going to bother her. And he allowed the charge to be led her direction. But she, like, again, I can't get behind either of them, but it's a good example to be used like for conversation. Okay, next part.
This creator does not give y'all the license
Wait. Yeah.
to be anti-black in my comment section. I have gone through and blocked so many people, follower or not, because you are not going to go into my comment section and give out the exact same rhetoric that I am saying is bad and expect to be cheered by me. Racism is racism. The entire point of my second video was to highlight the fact that racism towards Asians specifically was often swept under the rug, but that does not give you permission to then be racist towards an entire other community. So in case it's not thoroughly obvious, I don't support that rhetoric on any side of the spectrum, and if you put that into my comment section, I will block you. And for the small percentage of people who have been trying to use this against me, guess what? You're still wrong. Yes, am I not going to catch every single comment, but that doesn't mean that I support the comment just because it slipped through. There is hundreds of comments in those videos. I am not going to catch them all. That does not mean, though, that I support what they say. And for the people leaving those comments, let me make it clear. You are not any better than the original creator that I stitched. Spewing out the exact same hateful rhetoric does not make you better. Please, for the love of all that is holy, let this be the last video I make on this topic.
It won't be. It won't be the last. Okay. This is her video now. We're back to her video. Most of y'all don't want an apology. Y'all want a pound of flesh, and I will never give y'all that apology from me. Okay, here we go.
Apology from me. And if I first, let me say the overwhelming majority of y'all do not want an apology from me, and if I gave y'all one, it would not be genuine. However, there is something that I need to account for. My intent in bringing up his mother coming from the Philippines by boat had no racial or xenophobic undertones.
She said it with too much passion behind it, though. Like she was trying to hurt his feelings. And the way you hurt people's feelings says something about you, right?
Whatsoever. However, I'm wise enough to know that sometimes intent and impact are not always in alignment. Fresh off the boat is a term widely used across immigrant communities, and that's what I was alluding to.
So now this is analogous to me saying growing up conservative and with an immigrant family, like this is me analogous to saying this is like when minorities, how do I give it an example? It sounds like the way when I was a Republican, I used to defend Republican policy against immigrants because I was raised by a MAGA conservative immigrant family. Like just because immigrants uphold racism doesn't mean it's not racist. Or just because immigrants uphold the patriarchy doesn't mean it's not bad for us. Like just because immigrants do it doesn't mean it's good. Right? Like we know our people are as like can be as ignorant. Just because you're a minority, it doesn't mean you've deconstructed. So it's like she's like trying to say, well, my parents say this. Well, we're immigrants and we say this. Oh, well, systematic racism against Black people can't exist because I'm an immigrant and I've never experienced. You know what I mean? It's like it's not what you think it is. It's not doing what you think it is, right?
When I referenced it in the comment, nothing more. However, after doing some research, I learned that that phrase was originally and specifically used to disparage Asian Americans. So, to the Asian community at large, I would like to genuinely apologize. Despite my intentions being far from racist or xenophobic, due to y'all's like historical relationship with that phrase, I could understand why me invoking that phrase felt like racially insensitive or racially charged. Again, that was not my intent.
But not racist? You could do a racism without meaning to, right? That's why we go, oh shit, that's racist. I gotta stop doing that. I didn't know that was racist. She doesn't want to take on the actual responsibility, which is interesting. Like she doesn't want to believe that she did a racist, which is interesting.
At all. But for some of you, that was the impact. And that alone is enough to warrant acknowledgement and apology on my part. And to address it, because I know that it will come up, I never doubled down on racism. I doubled down on saying that I didn't think my comments were racist. To be frank, I still don't think that what I said was inherently racist.
Oof, girly.
However, the community that was affected by the comment did feel like it was racist, and that's enough.
So the community you offended said it was racist, but you don't think it's racist, so it's not racist. Reminder that this conversation started over plot and storytelling in JJK.
For me. To everyone else, and particularly to those of you who wanted to use this opportunity to continue to dogpile on me for being an educated Black woman who is not afraid to share her opinions on stuff, I think you're a real life loser and you do not move me. For the anime dude bros who are so obviously linking up like the Avengers to bully me, y'all are still punks. Y'all are still throwing stones and hiding your hands, and y'all do not move me. For the people who didn't even bother to watch my video to hear what I said, just ran with out of context versions and blatant lies, you are low-key proving.
You just, hold on, my original comments for the record, you just accused me of being condescending and a liar to your audience to hundreds of thousands of people. Sorry, no hate. Okay, yeah, that was her original video.
My point about the literacy crisis. And y'all do not move me. That being said, my hope is that the trolls can respect this comment section as a space for people in the community who was offended to air out any grievances they may have. But I want to be clear, if y'all try to turn my comment section into a clan meeting, I will turn off the comments on this video. I'm never going to hold space for y'all to dogpile and disrespect me. I will block the whole of TikTok and go back to the days when it was just me and 500 people on here, and I could talk in what felt like a community and not a constant ambush. Until then, I will continue to talk about anime, manga, and the racism and misogyny in the anime community online as I see fit. Because again, y'all do not move me. Lastly, to the people who took my comments in context and discussed it in context, I appreciate your objectivity, particularly those of you who honored that it was not racist, but did think I was wilding. Okay, I appreciate y'all. Okay, but yeah, I hope this makes it to the For You page of the people who actually need to see it, not the people that don't move me.
This is 2 days ago.
You respect your mom should have swallowed you down before she got on the boat at the Philippines.
Okay, what's missing from this video is what Fraud Boy said, which is actually 10 times worse, maybe even 100 times worse than Ope the Otaku. He's made death threats, racist jokes, special needs jokes, encouraging violence against people in the community.
No way, Happy. There is no way you really thought you could.
By the way, guys, in case you're not picking it up yet, this is the whole bubble of anime talk. This is like these people consider themselves what's it called, mutuals or whatever. Like they're all like this is a bubble on the internet that I do not belong to, nor do I want to belong to, and I just want to observe it. That's like the YouTube bubble, but on TikTok, and they all know each other's names, and they all talk about each other, and they all make like comment like videos to each other. This is I felt like I was a peeping Tom, like checking out this bubble, like what is happening over here.
Use this opportunity to become relevant again. This thumbnail is a death threat to you? Are you that soft? Are you that soft? When you said that I was encouraging violence with this comment, why did you conveniently leave out the part where I literally responded saying, I don't support that? Oh, that's right. You said you were going to drag this for another 15 years.
Chat said that they are all going to see each other at the next anime con. Literally, it's so funny. And like, look, listen, this is what it felt like when I was in the debate bubble for a little time. And I'm so glad I'm out again because like, girl, but like, it feels crazy. Like, oh, we're all going to see. This is not the world. You want to watch the drama. You don't want to be in the drama.
Years. The same guy who said making memes for money is the same as selling your soul to the devil. See, I'm not going to mince words with you, Happy, because you brought my ex-wife into this.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to just say it flat out. You're a piece of shit.
Uh-oh.
You always have been. You were mutuals until I disagree with you on one thing, and you took it so personally, you blew up the entire thing.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and don't worry, I still have every single screenshot. So that whenever you try shit like this, like cropping out things I say, I'll just expose you as the exact same pathological liar you always have been.
Oh, damn.
A nice try, but that video got no views. And why am I not surprised in the slightest that Ope would believe all this nonsense?
She said, I'm genuinely so sorry all of that happened to you. I never said he shouldn't exist just because he's Filipino. In the video of me that you stitched, my exact comment was at the top. I did make that statement to be racist, but that was the impact, and that's why I apologized.
It's crazy.
Oh my God. Okay. So then there's this video. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Okay.
History. Oh, he's the darkest sorcerer in history. One since the hang, same energy across the board. I'm sorry, I'll try to keep a straight face, y'all.
As always, nothing but love for you, Jay. Y'all should go give that man a follow. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about these comments. Now, some people, in a desperate attempt to say that I'm anti-black, have gone back as far as March of 2024 to dig up some old screenshots. Now, I take full accountability here. I did indeed like those comments. However, once I realized that my community was not happy with that, I went ahead and deleted those comments, not the video, but the comment.
Bro, so you're showing us evidence that date back a year ago doesn't mean the same person at the least changed. And I understand these types of jokes are uncalled for. A year ago is nothing, and he deleted the year-old video today, so explain that.
And made a story post apologizing about it. Now, unfortunately, that story post was reported and taken down. However, of course, I did keep the screenshot because I knew that people would bring this back up. For me, I just thought that they were funny jokes that were a little bit edgy. However, I am not one to ever tell someone that they can't be offended by my actions or what I say. So once I realized that a large portion of my community were disappointed or upset, I went ahead and just deleted those comments because I didn't want to perpetuate that. And even before that video and since then, I have spoken up multiple different times on topics that affect the Black community in America. Not because it's performative, but because I truly believe that these issues do need to be talked about. Now, some people have gone as far as to try and lie and say that I deleted the video, but no, the video is very much still up there. I just deleted the comments because people weren't happy with them. So like I said, I take full accountability for the fact that I liked those comments because at the time, I thought that they were funny. However, it's been 1 year and about 6 months since then, and like I said, I deleted them at the time because I realized that people were being offended by it, and I didn't want to offend them.
Bro. Again, so he's not deleting them because he thinks they're wrong. He's deleting it because people were mad at him for thinking it's wrong, right? I'm not even trying to like trick him because I believe people change. I feel like I change every 6 months, right? No. Chat says, Brittany, just to be fair, her saying that about his mom is sexist because he brought his mom. Just to be fair, isn't it also sexist to say that he doesn't know where her clitoris is? Against men? You're saying it's sexist against men? Isn't it punching up because men traditionally don't learn where their women's clitoris is, and that's the joke? Because men don't do their due diligence to care about details when it comes to women's bodies, which isn't even true because women don't own clitorises. It's not the joke. The joke is making fun of men for not knowing where a clitoris is. So you could say it's sexist against men. No, it's not sexist against his girlfriend. Chat said it's sexist against his girlfriend. No, it's sexist against him because it's making fun of men. The joke is making fun of men, not making fun of her. If anything, gets in defense of her because, you know what I mean? And I don't even know if he has a girlfriend. That's the joke. I don't know anything about this man. I don't even know if he has a girlfriend. She doesn't exist. That girl knows he has a mother. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know that he has a girlfriend. He could be single. He could be gay. But she knows he has a mother because he came from somewhere. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the difference. I don't know anything about this man. He could be gay. Is he gay? He has an ex-wife. Is he? I don't know what he is. I'm just learning this with you guys. So my joke is more a joke at men. It's a play on men. You could argue it's sexist against men, but I would say it's culturally observant more than anything.
People, because it's not my job to determine whether I offend somebody or not. So Jay, brother, I love that you brought this up. I appreciate you as always. And yes, as always,
he was like, a black man defended me. I love it when black people are on my side. Okay, I think that's it. I think as of 2 days ago, there's no update. That's the end of it. Okay, what do we think? I think that's it. I'm just checking. Hold on, I'm checking. I think I got it. I think I caught us up. Okay, what do we think overall? You know what I mean? Chess says, so did we reach an agreement on JJK? Love JJK. One of my all-time favorites. If I have to go very, very deeply into JJK about whether or not it's good storytelling, whether or not, I would say that it's good enough. You know what I mean? right? It's like good enough. You know? Chad said, fair enough. Brittany just wanted to clarify. Many people could interpret it as sexist stereotypes about real men. Know how to blah, blah, blah. So glad you clarified. Oh, real men know where the clitoris is. Oh, yeah. I think considerate partners know where their partner likes to be touched. But the joke is that, because he asked, how did you watch season 1 of JJK and not know XYZ? And I said, the same way you don't know where your girlfriend's clitoris is. I'm saying you can be with somebody and still not know things because you still have to be taught things in a way that your brain comprehends. That's the commentary. It's like a humorous way to make, like, his point doesn't make sense because I've also seen JJK multiple times and could not tell you how it works because I'm not making a concerted effort to remember. So the same way you didn't make a concerted effort to learn where her clitoris is the same way she didn't make a concerted effort. Now, she could argue she did make an effort and she still doesn't get it. And in that case, I would say then she hasn't found the right person and the right way to explain it to her. But I would say that I feel like if I made a concerted effort, I could figure it out. You know? So JJK is really good. I really like it. I'm looking forward to season 3. I do not care that Gojo is in a box. I'm going to watch this show even if Gojo isn't in it. Do not give fucks. Because I like Itadori. I like the other characters. I like the world in general. I like the animation. I like the way it makes me feel. I'm still going to watch it, right? The same way I'm going to watch Hell's Paradise, even though I think Hell's Paradise was way worse in terms of story. Holy shit. This is Mappa's big 3. Hell's Paradise, they could have done so much better with that. But it's still pretty to look at. I still like the fight scenes. I'm still going to watch it. But they could have done so much more with that season 1. You know what I mean? They could have done so much better with that. Definitely. Ted says, can you rank your favorite characters and why? Girl, I can't remember half the names of any of the animes I watch. Listen to me when I say this. Because I watch anime and sub, I almost don't know anybody's names. The only way I'm going to learn a character's name is if I hear it in English. I cannot understand the Japanese. I do not know when they're saying names, almost ever. Like, yeah, I have name blindness too. Guys, I cannot hear sounds. So like when I watch, especially because my partner, like we watch a lot of anime and sub is so good. It's, oh my God. What's the guy's name? What's Shadow Boy's dad's name? Toji. You know Toji? His Japanese voice is so much better than his dub. His dub is good. All the dub is good. But his voice in Japanese is exactly what I imagined. It's raspier, it's lower, it's darker. His anime voice is a little too young for me. I was going to name him Megumi, but I named him Megumi. It's like a little too like, haha, but this was like, it's raspier. It's like, you know what I mean in Japanese? It's like deeper and darker. It's so much better. But it's still good, you know? I like the Gojo in English. I like the Gojo in Japanese. It's, again, when I watch art, I have to sometimes watch it many times to understand it. But more than that, I notice different things every time I watch something. The reason I'm thinking about rewatching JJK, I just told my partner this morning, I think I'm going to rewatch JJK. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah. Like, it'll be like my 3rd time rewatching it. I think I should rewatch it. And it's like, why? And it's like, because, well, he rewatches anime too. It's not like he's asking me why, but he's asking me why JJK, not something else. I think I want to see what I missed. So every time I watch something, I learn something new. I don't get it all the first time, ever. 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 And so I think the insinuation that she didn't get it the first time on watching is just like disappointing. Okay, Chainsaw Man, big 3, right? Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, JJK. Chainsaw Man? Guys, the storytelling's... It's fun. I like it, but it's like... Now, okay, I've been thinking about why I don't love Chainsaw Man in terms of the characters. I don't care about any of them. Let me tell you why. I don't think my life was fucked up enough. I think if your life was really fucked up, you probably love Chainsaw Man because the main character is so sad, but his motivation sucks. But his motivation would suck if he was abused that way. I assume if you were that severely abused, your motivation also sucks. Guys, there are so many other choices he could have made with his life. But also he couldn't have because he's so fucking abused. But it's like a fun show, but like, I don't think I was fucked up enough as a kid. I will be real. But I'm going to say for kids who were, it's probably a really nice show to watch. You probably feel really seen. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just like, it's whatever. Like, it's fun. I like it well enough, but I'm not personally like, you know, moved by it. Now, I'll say for JJK, I did cry multiple times in JJK. I'm much more of a JJK girly. I feel much more emotionally in tune with JJK, but I didn't cry for Chainsaw Man or for Hell's Paradise. That's kind of how I gauge how I'm feeling about a show. Is, did it make me cry? Did it pump me up? Did it make me feel inspired? JJK makes me want to work out. It makes me cry. And I like it in general. You know, that scene that ends fight with the curse. I can't remember anyone's names. And Toto, when Toto shows up, and I'm just like, oh, I was like, oh, oh my God, the way he goes and he slaps her face and Itadori's screaming and it's just like, boom. And then like, oh, and then it's just, what the, okay. I'm crying. I'm bawling. I'm on the floor. I'm literally gagged. I'm vomiting. Okay, the whole reveal of the brother, like I was just like, you know? Heck, you know the scene where the molten curse, his brothers die? I was crying. Shit hurts when your brother dies, bro. You know what I mean? Shit made me cry. And he's a curse. I cried for a curse, bro. I was like, damn. I was like, I'm kind of mad that he killed his brothers. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel for the curses as much as I feel for the humans, which I think is their point. I really feel for the humans, bro. When the two girls, when the sisters died with their little phones, she was so mad. Oh, she was so mad. They whoosh. Tess says, I almost cry every time a demon dies in Demon Slayer. I haven't seen season 2 because I only saw season 1, but isn't that the Demon Slayer meme? The Demon Slayer meme is how dare you make me cry over every demon. It's true. Yeah. Discord said, I'll never forget y'all talking about everything everywhere all at once and how some people just aren't fucked up enough to connect to it. Hey, everywhere, everything everywhere all at once. That is one of those movies that, like, as a fucked up queer kid in the home I grew up in, immigrant home I grew up in, cried every time I watched that movie. But some of y'all weren't fucked up in the same way. So you don't get it. Some people, like, literally were like, what's the whole queer plot? I don't get it. This is so boring. Like, this queer plot is so dumb. Like, who cares? Her mom treated her mom liked her. Her grandpa was cool with her. The grandpa was fine. Like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you do not understand. You don't get it, bro. You got to be fucked up in the right way, you know? And then again, Solo Leveling. Okay, so I watched Solo Leveling because my brother was like, Brit, Solo Leveling. I watched it and I was like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, Solo Leveling was fine. It was okay, but it just wasn't, it felt like a boy fantasy. It felt like a jerk off for teenage boys to feel good about themselves. I'm sorry, which I understand is a lot of anime and I'm here for it, but it had no character, bro. It just had nothing. There was nothing. He got hot in 3 episodes and everyone's like, oh my God. So you want to be hot. See how boys want to be hot? Boys want to be hot. That's why they watch anime. I was thinking about this the other day. Geto and Gojo, y'all want to be hot. That's why you watch anime. You sit there and you want to have a 6-pack like Toji. You want to have his muscles. You want to be cool like Hanami. You want to be cool like all these boys. You're like, yeah, that's my fantasy. You watch Vegeta and Goku fight it out and you're like, that's me and my boys. That's not you and your boys. Please. That's not you and your boys. Come on now. We love the fantasy, okay? And I'm here for it. But do you know it's a fantasy? Because sometimes these boys take their misogyny, and this is where I'll wrap up the topic. Some of these boys take their misogyny and their love for anime and think girls can't join in. They say, oh, they love the girls in the shows and the girls are like beasts and everything. But then girls can't join in the same way. You don't let them because you make it a boys club. You do. My brothers will talk all day about how the girls are beasts, but then the misogyny comes out, the sexism comes out. There's a line in the sand of when the girls can like be brought into the conversation. Oh, the girls are beasts, but it's like, okay, cool. Got it. And to be fair, that's the media they consume as well, right? Was Katara ever given the props the same as Zuko or Aang? Now, Azula was, but Azula was crazy, like girls are. You know what I'm saying? When you watch shows, the question is, do the girls, even though they're given a lot of credit, are you as impressed by them as you are as the Gojos or the Getos or the other boys? Do the girls feel? Because what happened at the end of JJK? Girl gets hit in the forehead, okay? She goes down and Itadori gets the absolute ever living shit fucked out of him and somehow always survives plot armor much. Now, apparently she's alive, maybe. Fingers crossed. I don't know. At the end of that season, I was given hope. I don't know if that's true. I did not read ahead. I do not have spoilers. Do not spoil it in my chat. But in my head, Nobara is still alive. Because that's how they made me feel by the end of season 2 for some reason. I don't know if I misunderstood the Japanese. Don't tell me. But like, that's the feeling I got by the end of season 2. Okay, listen, she doesn't get as strong at the same pace the boys do. And I do think that's annoying. Like, that's like sexism a bit. Like, the characters don't get, like, the boy, just generally speaking. That's why Urza in Fairy Tail was kind of amazing, because Urza actually, like, stood up to the boys in a lot of ways. Like, she was considered one of the best. And so she kind of got that feel like she was the queen. So she's queen of the fairies or whatever. So, like, she kind of got, like, that feeling. Or even, I guess, like, I don't know. Who's to say? At the end of the day, it's all just art and it's meant to be consumed and you're meant to use it to inspire you to do better, hopefully. Hopefully you don't watch it and you're like, Geto has a point. You're like, like, that Geto, though, he hot. He got a point. Hot people got points, But hopefully you watched it and you just thought, like, okay, how do I be a better person? How does this inspire me to be better? Like, the whole lesson of Gojo, I hope you took away from this, is that he is the Goku and Geto is the Vegeta. And it's better to be Geto in the sense that he's more real. But it's obviously better to have the hopes and dreams and optimism of Geto and Goku because they get to be not real. They get to actually want better for the universe. Because unlike Magneto, Professor X was right. The strong should protect the weak. Chad says, what anime do you think is good at portraying women? I mean, so many animes are pretty good at portraying them. Like, even in JJK, the women are great. It's not that they're not good. Okay, I just asked my partner to please find me Sailor Moon dub, the one I grew up with, the DIC one. I was like, please find me the Sailor Moon. It's my favorite. But I think that there's a lot of women in a lot of anime that I think anime, in my opinion, is one of the greatest mediums to have female representation or women representation or even queer representation that feels good and better than anything I've ever seen. But it is still primarily written by men. It is still primarily consumed by men. It is always going to have a little bit of a flaw. I think One Piece is a great representation of women. I also think at the end of the day, it's still written by a fucking man, and so rumor has it, no, wait. That's the wrong thought. Hold on, I had a thought, but I think that's the wrong thought. Never mind. Screw that thought. Look at me catching myself. But I will say that it's not that they have to be written by women to be good women, but I do think that sometimes even the way women write, we uphold the patriarchy with our writing. So we're flawed in even the way we write about ourselves. Because I think we internalize that we're less than. And so we even end up writing characters that are less than, which is why Sailor Moon was so amazing, because Sailor Moon is the strongest. She is always the strongest. She is always number one. It's like she internalized none of that. That's why Sailor Moon, this ditzy girl that everyone underestimates, is always stronger even than the boys. Even than the boys. I think, yes, Sailor Moon comes to mind but then Sailor Moon isn't one of those animes that men respect. Boys don't like it. They don't get it. They don't relate to it. But I think it's so digestible. It's so good. But it's not like a JJK. Sailor Moon, the fight scenes are not JJK fight scenes. We need an anime that's like JJK fight scenes, but more gender inclusivity. Because I don't even want an anime that doesn't have boys in it. I just want the underlying story to be like, because at the end of the day, and I think this is what men and women are missing if you gender binary it like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I've been sort of going through a midlife crisis. I just feel kind of lost. I just don't know what direction I should head in. I don't know if I'm an actor anymore.
Okay, I don't want to interrupt you, but...
No, I love your opinion.
Can you say you crying, but like, in that voice? Wait, I'm sorry.
You crying?
Okay, so like...
I just feel...
He's just a normal fucking
sort of going
dude.
through a midlife...
Look at this normie ass fucking dude. Okay? Ungroomed, unstyled, nerd to a T, a little chunky. We love him. That's your Gojo. That's the male fantasy. And he's got a sexy ass voice and I'm here for it, girls. Okay? And I love it. I love a chunky, ungroomed man. Okay? But this is not your Gojo because Gojo doesn't exist. This fantasy of having six pack and being muscular and showing up and being perfect, like that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the fantasy. The male fantasy is I can be nerdy at home and be the fighter on, you know, so when boys kick girls out of anime spheres, they're like, you're not cool enough. You could never make it in a fight. Neither can you, bitch. That's the energy these boys give at Comic-Con when they're like, you would never win in a fight, actually. And it's like, do you think you're winning in a fight? And they do. By the way, they do think they're winning in a fight, which is why it's so funny. Okay. And I love a nerdy boy, but it is the fantasy. And that's why the sexism is so annoying. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, this space is so safe for girls. Like we don't even mind if girls are here, but also she would never actually win in a fight. Okay. It's like, yeah, I don't know what conversation we're having right now. You know what I mean? That's the energy. So anyways, all of this to say, I love it. You know, I love the voice actors. I love how they're all just nerdy boys behind a camera getting to live out their fantasies. Have you seen the voices who do Vegeta and Goku? Hardly fuckable, but that's not the point because that's the fantasy. The fantasy is, and everyone's fuckable in their own way. But the fantasy is you're fucking Goku and Vegeta, you're fucking Toji, you're fucking Gojo, you're fucking Geto, these people are fuckable, you know, or you're fightable. That's the dream. The fantasy is I'm hot like them. Everybody wants to live in a fantasy world. Or if you're a kid watching Avatar, that kids can save the world. Avatar, The Last Airbender is making kids feel powerful in the world like you can do something, because you can. Chat says, Britt, have you seen Japanese Sinks 2020? I have. I really liked it. Yeah. Chat says you hear a sexy voice, so in a sexy body, you add a sexy body. I just watched that episode of Seinfeld where Elaine is flirting with a guy from Blockbuster over the phone and she loves his movie pics and she's like, oh my God, I'm so into you. And he's got this great sexy voice. And then she shows up at his apartment and his mom is there and he's like 15 and she's like, I gotta start drinking. And I was like, girl, you gotta start drinking, you know? It's like, oh yeah, ooh. And it's like, and I just know, that's what I'm saying. That's the joke. Oh, this hot girl's messaging online. Is she like, maybe she's a man. You know what I mean? It's like, anyways, all of this to say, girls, that back and forth between those anime talk people was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Just absolutely ridiculous. But all I have to say is this, just because you're a minority doesn't mean you've deconstructed, doesn't mean you're introspective, doesn't mean you've really like thought about things, and that's okay because it's a journey, but don't give yourself credit that you know, haven't earned. I just loved her justification at the end. Just because this community said it was racist doesn't mean I think it is, but I'm sorry I offended them. It's like, well, if that's not racist, I don't really know what is. Like, how is that not racist? Like, you know what I'm saying? I just don't get the logic. Like, how is that like for less crimes, we call things racist, which they are. For less offensive things you can say, it's racist. I don't even know how that's not racist. You know what I mean? Let me say it like this. If what you just said, I would hear at a Klan meeting, it's probably racist. You remember the show? Wasn't it called Fresh Off the Boat? Just because minorities reclaim sentences doesn't mean it's not racist. Yeah, Fresh Off the Boat was the Asian family comedies sitcom. Yeah, but who does that sitcom appeal to? White people. Like Blackish? Blackish isn't a show for Black people. So yeah, but you know, that's a whole other bubble deep dive into like media and TV shows and all that other stuff. It doesn't actually like speak to the Black experience, but it's kind of like, because they're a sitcom family. You know what I mean? It's not deep. That's the point. It covers deep topics in the way that like Full House did. You know, so Fresh Off the Boat, same thing. It's like it's giving you a story. It's about an Asian family that immigrated, but it's not getting there the same way that people would feel like deeply seen in the same way.